Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope we all had a great time till now, and we will have a good day today as well. I welcome on board all our invitees and panelists for inoday-NetSuite Feb 2022 webinar, which is going to be focused on 4 ways your services projects turn profitable. The agenda for this webinar today is we'll talk about inoday, challenges with services projects, 4 ways to turn them profitable, NetSuite PSA overview, which will be given by an expert, followed by a demo, our capabilities, and then in the end, we will have a Q&A where our experts will address your queries in and around. Before we go ahead, I would like to give you a brief about inoday, what we do. As a renowned custom software development firm, we believe in delivering uncompromised, successful implementation of enterprise and custom software solutions. We professionally manage businesses of all sizes, and right now we are focusing on manufacturing, services, and e-commerce business domains. However, we have a massive clientele across multifarious industries. Recently, and I take a great pride in delivering this information, we got recognized as #1 NetSuite channel partner in India. Willingness to take up challenges and commitment to innovation for eliminating bottlenecks have spearheaded our efforts to contribute our best to the IT. We would like to introduce our speakers, CA Pradeep Joshi. He specializes in SME CA Indian taxation from NetSuite Consulting from Oracle NetSuite. To continue, I would like Mr. Pradeep Joshi to take the charge from here. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you on board for the webinar. Management. So, agenda for today's meeting is the challenges that we are facing in service across service projects industry. So basically, we'll be focusing majorly today in all the challenges that we face across service projects in the industry. So basically, there are the reasons why we are facing these challenges are there are majorly 4 reasons we have identified so far, and there are others, of course, but these are the major reasons why we are facing what kind of challenges we are facing in our service projects. So one is like evolving and changing customer expectations from us. So that is like customer expectations are changing from time to time, and we are not able to tap that. Then going forward, we are having issue in interrupted and improper communication between the team. Like we are facing these kind of challenges we have seen in the multiple projects, service projects. Each and every project is anywhere we are lacking the communication, and there is a lack of communication that will ultimately lead to a challenge and hurdle in successful implementation of our projects, completion of our projects. And next one is like we are using inefficient tools and business models for doing our project activities. So that is again a major challenge. And another one is lack of service industry expertise, like many businesses are facing. So we would like to address all these challenges with the help of the product tool like we are using for successfully and implemented in many of the industries now with the help of Oracle NetSuite bundle. Basically, there are 4 ways to turn service projects profitable in the industry. Like we are majorly focusing on the right metrics, data-driven culture, then timely analysis, and acknowledging true costs for the project. First one is like tracking the right metrics is the important part. Like project leaders and organization need to improve in order to improve their project profitability. Business leaders need to define and determine the metrics that matter most for their organization's profit and eliminating growth. So basically, they need to be focused on what exactly will be the right approach for their organization's perspective in longer term for growth. Service performance insight recommended that using these 5 KPIs that we are majorly focusing in all of the industries this is common approach to utilize among different industries where we are using project management. Is first one is our billable utilization. So we need to capture how much is billable utilization in the project. Then we need to check out for project overrun. Then project margins need to be kept high constantly, regularly basis. And then another one is annual revenue per billable consultant, and the last one is annual revenue per employee. So there is a difference between billable consultant and employee. There might be some consultants or some employees that are engaged in project, but yet they are not billable. So they will be part of some administrative task or any supporting task to the billable consultant. So that is another key area that we need to address here. Second one is data-driven culture. So data-driven culture is basically for driving all the factors in our business to grow properly. We all are dependent in today's world for data. So right data will be very critical for any of the organization key strategy makers to take decision at right point of time. So that will be one of the important aspects from the point of taking financial as well operational and non-financial decisions, operating decisions in the organization. So that will ultimately lead to the growth of the organization in a structured manner that management has decided. And third one is like we need to acknowledge the true costs of the project. So majorly, like wherever we are doing project-based accounting, the major challenges like we are facing is the actual cost of the project is not determined by the organization. Ultimately leads projects into running into losses or not generating profit for the organization. So we need to be focused on fixed fees project and value-based pricing, and it should be services can be drilled down in P&L reports into costs by projects, by employee, by each and every factor that are being involved in that particular project, so that we can have a better insight into project profitability. Wherever we are lacking, we can tap that point and actually address the issue. So that will help us to improve our overall business performance in each and every terms, and in terms of turning that project into profitable projects. Another last one is, but not the least, is timely analysis. Timely analysis is very much required for all the points we have discussed for the successful implementation and running projects into profitable. Is for all right metrics, data-driven techniques, and cost checks. We need to take right decision at the right point of time. In case we are not taking right decision at right point of time, that will again lead to running project into loss for the organization. So most importantly, strategic key makers need all these information in time so that they can analyze it properly before they are putting their right action into right time. So with this, I would like to introduce our co-speaker for the seminar, CA Uttam Kedia. Over to you, Uttam ji.
Thank you so much, Pradeep ji. Hope I'm audible. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so very good points being collated by Pradeep ji. Definitely, some of the key challenges that we have in part of a project lifecycle are very centric in terms of how do we collate, how do we build, how do we basic metrics in terms of the key to automation, in terms of billing, revenue recognitions, the way that we kind of collate our costs around the project. So all those are very key challenges, and there lies the opportunity. So we understand that the entire project services or the professional services space or the professional services automation offering that we have revolves around the entire projects and projects metrics. So typically we've kind of collated them in a particular framework. I'll just try to briefly touch upon some of the things. While we have a unified business intelligence, which is a complete analytical dashboards and a lot of reporting mechanisms, whether inside and connected to the entire ecosystem. But broad facets are like primarily project management, where we kind of have the entire schedule of projects and or things like that. So each of these details are kind of collated from a perspective that the project profitability, budgeting, costing, margin analysis, including the phase-wise analysis, the Gantt charts, deliverables, is risk and issue around the same. So all those are key metrics around project management's been kind of collated as part of our NetSuite offering. And add to that the entire life of resources and resource management. So there is a dedicated resource manager who kind of handles this entire staffing and scheduling as activities. They can have a complete pool of repositories of resources, that different skill sets, their availability, and they can balance that load in terms of how do you kind of give it across to the system across projects and keep a tab on around the bench strength and the cost realizations around each one of them. So those are like very integrated aspects, and they are integrated with the billing and revenue recognition. So whether the projects are T&M or are fixed bid or our milestone, we have it everything as part of our solution. So the projects can be percentage basis, or it can be cost plus or cost basis or subcontractors oriented. So all those are like different revenue recognitions. The systems also has capability to capture in the different kinds of time and the expenses. So each individual employees can book in their time and expense in terms of the billable expense and the expense reportings and the expense reimbursements that need to go through. They're all available on the app. So there is a dedicated app as well. And all of it is kind of also supported with a lot of reporting, which can be, again, very fairly easily integrated to Excel, can be forecasted, can be compared, and we can do a complete analysis around the project lifecycle. So that's an out and out a comprehensive project lifecycle that we talk about. There are certain metrics that we capture in, whether it's project profitability, which is primarily the cost collations around the employee labor cost, the travel expenses, the vendor pass-throughs. The revenues are realized through the client invoicing and the revenue recognition model. So there is a dedicated revenue recognition engine that we have, which can actually work through different elements of revenue, which complies with ASC certifications and all. And all of this revenue and the cost and the other mechanisms that are there gets you a complete 360-degree view of profitability. So each project's health in terms of how is it doing and what kind of a foreseeable future that we're looking for. This is a sample view of some of the project profitability report that we have, and we'll talk through more in a live instance. Actually, like how do we achieve this? But then there is a complete aspect, right, from the actual cost to the committed aspects and the revenues and realized revenues, if there are unbilled aspects around the same, and the margin analysis around each of these projects. So each customer-wise, project-wise detailing that we have it here. See, from a house of NetSuite, the SRP is a term coined for like services resources planning, which is primarily an ERP in the services organization. And the blocks that you see it on this particular diagram, right, the entire life cycle that we have it as part of our project life cycle. So the journey starts somewhere around the lead and lead management. So the entire lead cycle, the prospects getting into an opportunity, and finally that particular opportunity converts into a sales order. That sales order is primarily can be from a projects or a non-project specific stuff. So both, whether it's a project deliverable or some other deliverables that we have, they can be captured in. But from a project's life cycle, we have different templates which can fasten this entire process of project definition, the scheduling, the resources that are part of there, the time and expense, mobility around each one of these, the how to handle things around them. There are product sales, billing, rev rec, and the financials part of it. So it's a completely integrated offering along with analytics and reporting, which is in a single platform. So the entire CRM, the entire professional services automation and financials, they're completely 100% NetSuite. There is very intuitive, no requirement of any additional integration. It's completely automates all across business functions. And whether it's a product organization or a services organization, can fit in both the setups. And inoday has been a key partner to us. They have been key partner to Oracle to get these solutions to the last mile businesses, because they understand the businesses in detail. They have a good relationship with those partners and the businesses. So based on their fitment, their requirement, they can take it down and they can customize and personalize those solutions for those particular businesses. So that is where the partnership between Innode and Oracle is kind of very, very useful that we have. We'll just kind of broadly kind of connect on few points before I kind of move on to the live application. So some of the customers, and we'll visit on these customer specific. I'll just kind of broadly connect to the live instance of Oracle NetSuite. Um, we are on a real time system of a Oracle NetSuite project lifecycle. So this is a completely live instance of Oracle Professional Services. Professional Services is more like a program manager who will have a gamut of projects to look after. These are on the top that you see are like menus and submenus. These are the roles and responsibilities, and depending upon the roles and responsibility, each of them can be personalized to include or exclude some of the accesses. The entire the dashboard that we see is for a program manager, say, or professional services director, as we call it. This is more like a program manager who will have a gamut of activities around projects. He will have multiple projects, and each one of them is info tiled. So each of these info tiles can be configured to set up these entire parametrics in terms of the day in life that we talk about and things like that. They are all real-time data that we talk about, and each one of these can be configured to different aspects as well. So at any point of time, if I need to know how many projects are there, so these kind of info tiles can get you a real-time information. They can all be configured to your own requirements in terms of how do you kind of put in different metrics in terms of the pipeline statuses or different open estimates that I may have, or the different kind of reporting, whether it's end of month reporting or a particular other aspects that we talk about. So they are like, not only they are like very informative, but very, very real time. They can get you a lot of insights as to like take up a lot of decisions around the same. Typical the life cycle that I told you, it revolves around the projects and the project life cycle. So the menu cycle itself has been kind of customized in, for instance, like projects and project resources, the resources booking their time and expense. You can buy something for the projects and reporting around the projects from a different metrics around the same. There could be there are a lot of other KPIs which actually support this thing in terms of say, for instance, if these are like key performance indicators. So these performance indicators for a particular project lifecycle or a program manager could be around sales, the pipeline, the income analysis, the expenses, receivables, billing forecast. So at any point of time, these are all real-time systems. So I can get into the complete analysis of the AR aging summary around these are the dues from each of these customers by projects, and I can get to an understanding as to like what are the dues. So these are, again, at any point of time, the real life systems that I have, and they can be further configured as well. So typically, these are some of the KPIs that we have. We can configure it to make it much more meaningful. There are standard KPIs, there are custom KPIs. We can remove something and we can include as well. So we can include a particular KPI, which could be something, if there are balances or if there are data available, it will reflect in our reporting. So just for example, if we have a utilization metrics that can be included as part of our offering, and they can be very, very key in terms of the resources utilization and metrics around the same. So monthly analysis, we can have a quarterly analysis, provided the data reflects it, everything. Not only that it reflects a particular data point, but it also reflects your directional aspects. All of this can be configured to show a trend graphical aspects as well, as to like how are they moving month on month basis or on a weekly basis that we have. So they can give you a lot of insights as to like how do you kind of see through this data, what kind of a median level or an average level are we talking about, how do we kind of see this data across different time frames that we look for. So yeah, so there are a lot of insights that are, and each one of these insights can be downloaded as well. So they can be part of your income statements, they can be part of your presentations as well. So it's a very comprehensive view of some of these reports that we talk about. Now these projects can, the entire dashboard, I'm just kind of circumventing around the dashboards. The dashboard can be configured around different type of engagements. So if I need to have a tab of about, say, fixed price engagements, I can see what are my fixed price engagements, and these are the different kinds of engagements that I may have. I can keep a tab on, say, T&M engagements, which can reflect a set of T&M engagements that I may have. So all those can be again further fine-tuned to see it on my dashboard itself, actually, like what is my priority. So that's how this entire dashboard for an individual can be configured, and he or she can actually access through the particular aspects. I'll just kind of quickly run through a projects from a definition to the entire view that we have. So this is a projects that we have as to like from a definition in what lies under beneath. So all this dashboard are built based on the data, and data is primarily around projects and project lifecycle. So projects are kind of integrated to purchases, to billing, to financials, to reporting metrics. So all those are like, it's a completely integrated offering. But from a project lifecycle, we have as to like how, what kind of a name. So this is the particular customer. The particular ERP integration is the name of the engagement. The customers is Ultima Technologies. So we can actually name change this, or maybe can kind of configure this from a document perspective, a document numbering perspective as PRJ10066. So this is the project that we're talking about. Which customer, which subsidiary are we talking? Who's the project manager? What kind of an estimated work, the allocated work, remaining percentages? These are all data points coming based on the input that we have kind of put in here. The start date, end date guides the entire life cycle of the project. What percentage of completion that has happened? All of it is derived. Nothing is inputted. Everything is derived based on whatever we put as the underlying data. So the broad, on the face of it, you get a complete view as to like where does it belong to. This particular project belongs to a particular subsidiary as well, which particular currency and all those things are as well mentioned. And then comes the entire part of it in terms of the how do we schedule the project. So a scheduling of projects right from the entire milestones, the task, subtask, each one of them with their color code combinations as to like something is in stable green, or something which is kind of going behind schedule, kind of highlighted in red. The task and subtask, they are in sequence. So there could be a parent-child relationship between each one of them. Each one of these can have dependencies. So these are like predecessors, which will kind of highlight and also gives you start date, end date with their remaining works and actual works. Actual work is collated based on the each of these resources booking time to the particular projects, and which kind of gives you the percentage completion on this engagement. So that's a broader model that we have. These particular projects can be viewed into different metrics. Actually, like who are the resources been assigned to these engagements. Then we can have the different billing aspects. Actually, like how do you kind of build those particular things? So you typically bill at 3 or 4 stages. So you can define those billing aspects as well. You can define a complete planning apart from your scheduling as to like if there are minor level plannings that I need to have, milestone based planning that I need to have. So all that can be captured. And this gives you a broad cost estimate as well based on each of these line activities. So that's kind of a planning that I have. I can have a lot of other views in terms of tracking and the variance analysis. So those are very handy as well in terms of as to like how's the project running, what kind of an estimated vis-a-vis actual stuff that I have, and the variance around the same. There are a lot of Gantt charts and all which are available right on the application itself, which gives you a complete view of how's the full the critical activity, the critical path. You can highlight the critical path, and this will give you, this is the minimum or most that you need to kind of go through. And there are a lot of other metrics that we can actually capture in here as well. So that's how primarily it's a very, very intuitive application. And project lifecycle kind of starts from scheduling, then comes around budgeting. So we can define the cost-based budgets, the billing-based budgets. The budgets can be again labor, expense, suppliers. There are billing budgets as well. They can actually put in across the resources we spoke about as to like who are the resources being allocated around this engagement, what kind of cost metrics, and that resource detailing in terms of what kind of roles. So these roles are depending upon the whether he's a consultant or a project manager or a different kind of roles will have actually determining based on their skill set. You have a complete costing analysis been defined. So these are again based on the master data. When we define these resources, we define the roles and their cost data and around the same. Once these resources book in their time and expense, the costs are collated, and there comes the P&L. So these P&L, which kind of gives you a complete estimated cost, estimated gross margins and profits and all, and the actuals around each of these service line items that we talk about, which can be further kind of bifurcated into revenues, the committed aspects, the unbilled receivables. So all that can be outlined. There is also a financial perspective as to like what kind of a billing mechanism that I may talk about. This primarily is driven by the type of engagement. So whether it's a percentage completion, whether it's a fixed fee engagement, whether it's a T&M engagement, or it's a cost plus engagement that I may have, these rules can be defined to do the billing. And each of these billed items is something that we call as charge based. So whatever has been billed is showing up here, whatever is pending is showing up here, and the remaining work that needs to be performed is as well. So you have a complete out and out control of the project. And not only this, the project life cycle, whatever is kind of collating to different engagements. So all the transactions that has happened, the opportunities that are part of the engagements, they're all kind of listed here. You can, at any point of time, we can trace down those transactions, which journal, which particular expense report, which invoice, all of it is kind of that we have worked across. All that can be viewed in here as well. There are a lot of references, and the setup mechanism kind of helps you as to like whether you allow a particular thing or a disallow a particular thing to a particular actionables, and a complete proof of cost that you can actually collate it here. So the projects is a very, so what I'm actually showing you a complete view of first, like how do we define this. There are a lot of 360-degree view of the projects as well, which can give you a view from a engagement perspective as to like for this particular project, what kind of percentage completion, who are the project summaries, view different kind of projects and their percentage completion around the same, which particular organization it belongs to, the Gantt chart. So this is like a one-page summary as well, and they can be shared with the customer as well, depending upon what data that we can put in across. They can be downloaded and can be shared across to different aspects. Coming to reports and metrics around the analytics, we have a lot of reports to kind of complement this entire project life cycle. So whether it's cost, budget versus actuals, you have different mechanisms in terms of budget versus actuals, the variance analysis. There are forecast mechanism which gives you a complete forecast, each line by line, project by project, what kind of forecasting that you have on a month-on-month perspective. Again, these reports can be customized, they can be further fine-tuned, and there can be different graphical perspectives as well. So whether it's pie chart or a graphical aspects, all these reports can be also represented into different graphical perspectives as well. There are allocation engine as well, as to like resources and their allocation aspects. So whether what kind of an allocated time, the availability time, and the utilization metrics around month-on-month perspective. It could be by resources, by different projects. So there are various reports, whether it's planned allocation, by resources, across projects, across monthly aspects that we talk about. And then there are aspects around like budget versus actuals that we talk about on a month-on-month basis, and the variance analysis around the same. There are aspects on a complete view. Again, this is like a complete control of the project or a project manager, which gives you as like this is where you can enter time, expense, create a support case, allocate the resource. So all those actionables on a given single dashboard for a particular set of projects that we can talk about. So these are, again, you can keep a control of time entries, which can be, again, which needs any kind of action. You need to approve them as a manager, or you need to view them kind of as a kind of person who's tracking around. So there are different kinds of aspects that we can build it across here. And each of these projects can be further refined, as we talked about, in different types of projects. So whether it's our own projects, if it's staff-owned projects, all these can be very easily kind of tracked through this aspect. So I've just kind of zoomed in based on the request here. So these are some of the engagements, and this is how we can actually look in for each of these time entries, the aspects around these things. We can capture in the forecast, if the data has to be there, and we can look in for those aspects as well. So the whole idea is like, it's a very, very intuitive system. You can define those aspects as to like, how do you from different aspects to putting a different dashboard mechanism, which gives you a complete aspects as to like some of the customers to be billed, the customers to be renewed, the project on a summarized view, the different people who are working on the engagements and their work percentage completions, the ecosystem around project links in terms of the creating tasks, managing resources, entering time and chart, time and expense, creating a complete control of the project, which part of the engagement am I part. This is the org structure that we have, so which tells you exactly which the entire org structure of this particular organization, and where are we belonging from an organization project perspective. And then there is a Gantt chart and the project task and other activities. So that's a very, very quick summary and overview that we have from a project's perspective. We'll quickly kind of circle back to our solution, which we talk about. So these are some of the very successful stories. They have actually been part of our cycle here in India. They are all India businesses. grown very successfully, implemented and running very healthy. So whether we talk about Aspire Systems, Signity Technologies, Quicker, Majesco, Acuity Knowledge Partners, Indigene. So these are all very successful businesses which are very growing, having a year-on-year growth of a I would say more than a particular X, depending upon the knowledge and areas that they are all part of, and they've all implemented projects along with financials as part of NetSuite. I'll just kind of quickly summarize some of the values that we kind of leave as part of the process automation. So it gives you a complete automation around the project lifecycle. It gives you an efficiency around how do you kind of track your projects, how do you kind of build, automate, recognize your revenue and things like that. The real-time visibility across different domains, across different business functions that you have, right from definition of the projects to the billing and the cost collation, gives you a complete view of the project. And thereby you can take the proactive decision making around the entire cycle that we have. So that's a broader business value that we're trying to bring across. With that, I think I'll hand it over to our next participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Uttamji. I would request Pradeep Joshi to take this charge from here and deliver the way we overcome service business challenges and deliver the desired results with inoday-NetSuite PSA. Pradeep sir, over to you.
Thank you, Uttam sir, for providing the complete overview of the complete project cycle in a short time. So that was complete run of the project cycle in the limited frame of time. So basically now we will be more focusing on the ways like how we can overcome service business challenges and deliver the desired results with our solutioning. So this is only on the basis of all the projects so far we have handled, and there are few common business challenges that are being observed among different industries that so far we have observed. So let's quickly go through them and what exactly is the solution being offered by the product. So you will be able to relate those things, those solutions that we have already been demonstrated by Mr. Uttam earlier. So that will first of the major challenges, like when we come to the challenges like is being faced in this project cycle. One of the most important thing like we are facing as challenges, the scope creep. Like scope creep in the project management refers to the changes, and that is continuous and uncontrolled growth in project scope at any point of time once we are starting our project. So this can occur when the scope of project is not properly defined, documented, or controlled. It is generally considered very harmful. Like we have observed it in lots of projects, like where clients who are not completely familiar about they don't know what exactly they want from their existing system, what all are the value additions they are looking for from the particular project. So this is the very common thing like we are facing in each and every project. So one of the biggest project management challenge ever. Another challenge is like so how we can overcome like project scope creep can be defined in terms of like we have earlier demonstrated in the project management tool. With the project management tool, we can clearly define within a project all the activities and tasks that need to be taken care during that particular project. So that will be clear input, like we can clearly define what all need to be done in the existing project. Once that is being finalized and discussed with the process with the customers, clients, then that can be taken ahead. Another major challenge that we are facing is lack of communication, like between the team, like we have discussed earlier. So steps in project management communication process are basically we want to have the plan for the project, particular plan for the project, then we need to manage it, and then we need to monitor whether we are working as per plan or not. So as we have seen, like as a solution, how we can plan, we can plan for all the activities that need to be there. We can put it down in our project master, like what all are the steps and tasks need to be done. Then that can be managed with the help of the tool easily, so that we can get all the required input and that will also subsequently help us to monitor whether all the activities are in track or not. So effective communication is like, again, extremely important in successful project. We need to, like we have already discussed, like to make it successful, we need to, communication need to be timely and transparent. Method of communication should be there to ensure that all the stakeholders are also involved in the process. So in order to that, like we have the tool like that is automatically taking care of all these things, like communication will be done with the regularly with among all the team members, from the be it project manager, be it the resource who is working on it, be it other party who is interested in it. So everybody is on the same page once we are doing any transaction on it. So one of the major example, like we can see how communications and all these kind of things and timely communication is affecting the thing. Like this is the example, like we are getting like at the start of our work week, we are getting a calendar invite for it when the project update meeting, like on Monday, we are getting like, okay, invite for now we want to have a project update meeting with the client. Now for that, as a project manager, you need to be ready and prepare all the data for project updates. Now, in order to do that, we may need to cancel our already existing meetings booked for today, so that we can start gathering all the statuses from each and every department that are being engaged in that particular project. Now, once we gather that information, we need to spend hours in summarizing those information in various platforms, like we may be using Google Sheets or Excel documents or something we may be doing with the help of phone calls or emails. We will be arranging that. So that is again a very time consuming efforts. Like this can be visualized once we are not into automated mode, how we are working in this. So this is on the basis of the common experience, like the clients we have implemented so far were doing and executing things in this manner only. Now, once we have done lots of exercises doing summarizing this and preparing PowerPoint presentation for our executive, now we will be asked like, okay, we would like to also see our previous week's data as well. Now all the process you can imagine, after doing all these efforts, now we are being asked to include all the data that are related to prior to last week as well, or maybe till date update is also required. So in order to do that, now again the same cycle of collecting data from all the departments, and which you may again not get proper data from each and every department on timely basis. So that is again a painful task for the manager to collect and prepare that things. So how basically how we can address this, like we can see, like if all these things are being automated and we have put in all the efforts and tasks department wise, resource wise in our project management tool, then it is very easy for us. Like we have seen, like through the dashboards, managers can see which of the task is overrunning and how much it has been completed by the particular resources. So he may need not to go with anybody, and we can see with the help of Gantt charts and dashboards and preparation, he can easily prepare the thing. He need not to cancel any of his meetings or things to prepare the data, because data is readily available on single click of button with the project management tool that he is using. Now again, another pain point is like difficulty providing update to project execution team. Like similarly, in similar manner, like we have to collect data. Sometimes we need to update project management. If we are not using any project management tool, automated tool, then we are facing these challenges. These are being reported cases by clients earlier, like before switching to this, like they are having difficulties in managers have to rush themselves for collecting information or providing the information. Like we would like to communicate like, okay, now onwards our priority is being changed on the basis of certain decision taken with the key strategic holders. Like we need to prioritize another task now. So in order to communicate again that decision to each of the project execution team, manager has to rush to each and everything, or may have to drop emails or communicate them through different channels. So with the help of our our project management tool will be able to do real-time communication with the things, like if we are doing any changes or any changes in the sequence of the tasks that need to be done on priority, that can be done with the help of project management tool, and that will also automatically triggers notification to their dashboards, their respective dashboards, as well as it will automatically shoot in an email to them like there is a change at your part of the task that you are addressing earlier. So that can be scheduled easily, and that simply on the click of button, any of the process owners can do the changes, and it will be communicated among all the team who are involved in that particular process. So this is the solution. Like we have seen, like we can get real-time executive reports and dashboards from the same, and different reports and dashboards that are readily available. Most of them are readily available, and as per the requirement, we can do lots of customization. As per our requirement, we can customize how it can be looked. We can add more field into it. Whatever information is being put it into the system can be dragged in the form of that. So that is very easy to use process. For that, you may not need you don't need any technical assistance or any expertise. That just simple click of button, you can drag and drop the desired field in your thing, and that is ready to use. So you don't need expertise in doing that. That is simple, easy to use solution. Another pain area that are being shared by the clients from their past experience before using project management tool with NetSuite was handling of complex project billing. Like we may be having like different kind of professional project billings are there on the basis of situation and different industries. It can be with a single rate, or different factors are driving different kind of projects. It can be of service type, it can be on the basis of services or salaries of individual employees, hours putted on particular basis, or it can be on AMC kind of contract that are being billed on regular intervals. So every project might have different kind of project billing. So that is very difficult, and difficult for the finance department to actually bill projects on right time. They need to, need to calculate all the things again and again on the due time. Then again, there is a probability that we may end into inaccurate financial projection, which is again frustrating and time consuming for project managers to track. So again, what exactly can be defined as solution is like we are providing here, like we have already been shown in the prior demo. We can see like we are able to define different rate cards for different kind of resources or different processes. It may be for different resource or for different processes. So for complete project cycle, we can define each and every resource, whatever we are putting, and what exactly are their different rate cards. We have the flexibility of our project billing, automated project billing, and it helps us to do simple billing calculations is being there. That is, and detailed rate history is also maintained. It can be the case like we in between of the projects, we are revising our rates for certain activities on the basis of different decision. It can be the case somewhere. So in some industries, this is the practice like they are doing, like where we can change the rate on the basis of actual basis. So there might be a challenge of doing these changes in between of the projects, and that is again a cumbersome task for the accounting team to do all the changes and calculate exact billing for them. Now another thing is like similar to for the billing as well, we can see like there are usually long billing cycles as per milestones achieved in most of the project. We can see like on the basis of milestones achieved, we need to bill them. Now milestone can be achieved in different frameworks. Like it can be milestone can be achieved within a month, within 2 months, or we can have on the basis of activities. Actually, it will be anywhere. So accounting team need to take care of each and every, have to keep an eye on when actual milestone is being achieved. And once that is being reported by the team, like, okay, this has been done, then they are going to bill it. Because, and again, like we have seen the problem in communication earlier as earlier part, then he have to collect all the information whether the milestone is being achieved or not. Then he need to raise the billing, do the billing for that particular milestone achieved. So again, that is again time taking tasks, and it will delay our billing cycle as well. So here with the project management tool, what we can do is milestone achieved. We can simply put up milestone achieved, and on the basis of whatever, whenever employees complete their task, they can simply put up like, okay, we have completed this, and on the basis of say our milestone is 90% completion of a particular task, one milestone is being hit, then that will be automatically milestone achievement notification will be shared with the respective person, who will be directly able to create the bill from that activity. So that is so easy for them. Like they can keep tracking on the basis of different dashboard, like we have seen, like they can keep on building like built-in time, expense tracking and billing. So these all are the things like project manager can actually apply and track and manage billings, costing, refers. So this will make their life very easy in terms. These are all are the challenges like we have shared. Like another point is like lack of accountability and missing deadlines. We can see like, okay, on the basis of usually in prior to automation, like this is the common thing that is being reported by the project managers. Like we can see, okay, there is a lack of accountability within the team. Like we want reports from the resources, like, okay, whether this task is being done or not. They have to regularly chase their resources for completion of tasks, and again, due to that, we are missing most of the deadlines to complete that project. Then again, it is very difficult to manage the task from their end. Now, with the help of tool, now everything need to be manually updated. They need to keep track of each and every activity, progress activity within Excel again, or within Google Sheet. They can maintain, or resources are maintaining the same sheet in Google or Excel, and then they are reporting. Then there will be no timely action will be taken. It may be possible like on weekly basis. Usually, we resources are submitting their weekly reports of whatever they have achieved during the projects, and project manager might not be able to review it within weekend itself. So then weekend time is gone. Now they will be able to review it in the next week, and in next week resources have started working on their projects, respective tasks itself. Now deadlines are being missed, projects is in escalation mode. So this is the major challenges faced by the project managers as well. Now the solution with the project management tool is project manager can easily view all the tasks assigned to a particular team member. He can see on the click of button which task is assigned to which team member, and when is actually the deadline for that completion of that particular task. And their interdependability can be also established, whether that task is being completed by another one first resource, so that it can be processed into next step, so that there can be we can easily establish the accountability, and will be able to meet the deadlines that are being declared by the project managers. And in case there is any lacking in that can be easily reported and plugged out by the management team. So these are the basic key challenges that are being faced majorly by all the industry, commonly faced by all the industries that we have worked so far and addressed with our solutioning. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Shambhavi again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep Joshi and Mr. Uttam Kedia, for your insights and giving an elaborated overview of inoday-NetSuite capabilities around profitable project management. I hope we all had an integrating session with our experts and such valuable delivery. Depends. Please put up your queries and
yeah, there is one attendee. Mr. Naresh Kumar is having some question. Yeah, Naresh, panelists are available. You can put your question, or if you're I think inside the chat box. Q&A box is there.
Mr. Naresh, if you're comfortable, you can speak up your question as well.
Yeah. So basically, there is another question from Mr. Rajkumar. So he's asking like, can we restrict projects to specific users?
Yeah, I can take that. So basically, it's a role-based system. So every user can be restricted or given access to. You can restrict it not only a complete project, but you can also restrict it by activities, by different screens, by menus, different reports. They can be accessed both in viewable mode, editable mode. So there are various types of accesses that actually drives this entire thing, and you can build the complete segregation of duties as to like who should access, who should view, who should approve, and if the whole idea of getting the master record and the access management is kind of driven around the same. Hope it answers.
Thank you, Tom, for answering. Like NetSuite is providing this complete rule-based overviews, restrictions we can easily put up there.
If anybody has a question, they can actually speak up as well, so we can have maybe more interactive discussions as well to take this forward.
In and around anything.
You can also put in things which you may have wished, or something that you wanted, whether it is part of project lifecycle or the ecosystem that we're talking about. You can put in your thoughts as well, in case there are no more queries around the same.
Okay, everyone, like we have few minutes left. So Shambhavi, I think we do have poll to make live, or means everyone is like requested to participate in poll, which is appearing in the footer. Okay, this will help the speakers and solution team to take your area of interest and to understand what more we need to like incorporate in our project management system. Yeah, please feel free to vote, and we will be closing the session in a minute or so. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, Shambhavi, over to you.
Yes, sir. We are raising the poll question in a minute. So I would like everyone to participate in that poll so that we can have an overview of what challenges we actually come across services project management. It has 4 options, so you have to select one. Then we'll have a thing.
So Shambhavi, hope we have the required output, and we'll try to take this forward. And to the audience, hope the session was useful. I hope the entire project lifecycle, the nitty-gritties that we talk about. Often we capture projects as very, very manual or something which is semi-automated. So we're trying to give you a flavor wherein the entire project lifecycle can be automated, can be real-time, can be decision-making rather than a post-mortem analysis. So that's the endeavor that we have. It comes from the house of Oracle NetSuite, partnered with Oracle on Inoday, and it's a very successful story that we're kind of riding through, and look forward to take this forward along with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for participating in this inoday-NetSuite 2022 webinar. And we will look forward to share the good times with you all. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks to the speaker and the attendees. Thank you very much.